All right, let's cover this bullshit. So, Justice Dem Watch is an anonymous account. We've seen this happen a lot of times where they just come out and spin a bunch of bullshit. And this particular account, I think it's the same account. And I'm fairly certain I've already covered one of their other threads, right? Where they went to town on progressives at that point, too. Now, all right, let's go through it. So this is tweet one, right? You may have heard of Black Men for Bernie, which secretly worked on Trump's 2016 campaign at the direction of Steve Bannon. But you probably didn't know Black Men for Bernie worked closely with Brand New Congress, the group behind AOC, and the Squad. Here's the story. Here's the thing. It's politics, y'all. There are people who get it, who infiltrate at every level, like on all sides, right? Like, for instance, the most common thing that you can, this is like such a widely known practice. It's called a tracker, right? I think that's what's called. It's tracker, right? And they have them in all parties. They have trackers who show up to the opposition events and try and get information so that they can take it out of context and spin it. That is exactly their purpose. Okay, so we had trackers showing up to our events. I had a tracker when I walked for Jackson Hinkle. A tracker showed up at the end of our canvas and didn't seem interested in Jackson or Jake at all. He followed me down the hill. I know a tracker in the Democratic Party, and I've had conversations with him about it, about like, what does it look like? What do you do? I know more than one Democratic tracker. Okay. This is politics. This is how it goes. Like, people, they get involved in each other's groups, and that's why I feel like this is such a nonsense thread that I don't even know if I really want to cover it. All right, here's the story. I'll go as far as I hate this bullshit. And the fact that there's so many of you gullible people out there that will just like eat this crap up and be like, oh yes, of course, clearly every candidate who was ever endorsed by Justice Democrats must be horrible. It. All right, here's the next one. Black Men for Bernie was formed by Bruce Carter on March 28th, 2016, after Bernie cratered on Super Tuesday. So clearly this has got to be a centrist account, because we're talking about cratered on Super Tuesday. Bernie was still, he still ran all the way through June, at least. I mean, he was still actively campaigning all the way through June. Brand New Congress was formed 8 days later by Bernie staffers, including Zach Exley and Stacey Hopkins. AOC called it a post-partisan group of GOP, Dems, and independents. So here's the whatever. That was a mistake. And they were pushing on that. This is probably why you also have like Movement for the People's Party doing the same bullshit. That was a mistake. I think that was, I don't think she should have tweeted that. If that's a real tweet, I don't think she should have tweeted that. That was probably just inexperience and a mistake, because I don't think she would ever tweet anything like that ever again after seeing what happened once Trump got elected. Right? You have to consider, a lot of this stuff predates Trump getting elected. All right, what else you got? On June 13th, 2016, Brand New Congress and Black Men for Bernie held a joint kickoff of events in Los Angeles, officiated by Brand New Congress founder Zach Exley. Black Men for Bernie founder Bruce Carter sent one of his lieutenants to speak at the event. You know what's really interesting about this account is that you have not identified that this video was shot at Bernie's coffee shop. I would think that that would be an interesting detail to actually point out, is that this was at Bernie's coffee shop. And that a lot of the people who have been problematic for Bernie's campaign came out of that particular group, right? They California for Progress, the Bernie's coffee shop crowd. There's so many people who were regularly hanging out at that location that became problems for the campaign. Not just problems in Los Angeles, not just problems in Southern California, but national problems that people talked about nationally. That, oh shit, this person's going to be doing a Bernie journey. Be aware, because they're going to be a problem for you. They're going to distract your volunteers. They're going to sleep with your volunteers. They were terrible, and they had a terrible reputation nationwide for all the crap that they did. And they the whole time I have known that group of people, they have been vicious, and they have been thwarting our efforts to organize the entire fucking time. Okay, on June 17th, Brand New Congress founder Stacey Hopkins and Black Men for Bernie founder Bruce Carter met in Chicago and announced joint events coming soon, including one in Atlanta on July 7th, 2016. Okay, so obviously they were trying to organize. It doesn't necessarily mean, like, do you know for certain that this Bruce Carter guy was GOP? Or, because a lot of the folks that got involved in the progressive movement were very cynical. And they were very suspicious of the Democratic Party. And a lot of that has to do with WikiLeaks, with the messaging that Bernie was coming out with. And it was just creating a lot of distrust, right? And I have also met a lot of people who consider themselves to be progressive, who seem to think that Republicans can be progressive, which is absolutely outrageous. So clearly they don't understand politics at all. One of those people would be Carrie Barber. She wrote that on my wall. Real progressives. Right. The real progressives. On June 20th, 2016, Black Men for Bernie visited the campaign headquarters of Cori Bush, who had been recruited to run for Senate by a Russian agent, and began openly working with Brand New Congress. Okay, so clearly you didn't even get that right. She ran for Congress. She ran as a House rep. Oh, okay. Maybe she was running for Senate. Was it state Senate? Or was it actual Senate? I don't know, but she got elected to Congress to as a House rep, right? Why is this a problem? That they were recruiting activists who represented their communities. Why is this a problem? I don't see the problem here. At the end of June 2016, Brand New Congress founder Zach Exley and Black Men for Bernie founder Bruce Carter held a joint organizing event in Dallas. Exley and Carter collaborated on joint presentations, and Carter spoke wonderfully about supporting Brand New Congress. So I still don't see the problem here. Like, you're doing this whole guilt by association thing. This is a guilt by association thing. Where I think you need to go further with this story. What happened after Trump got elected? Did he continue working with Bannon after he got elected? Or did he realize that was a bad move? Or did Black Men for Bernie separate away from Justice Democrats? Like, what is the rest of the story? I feel like you're purposely capturing a portion to try and defame people. I can't even believe that you threw Katie Porter into this bullshit, too. In late June or early July 2016, so you don't even know, while collaborating with Zach Exley and Brand New Congress, Bruce Carter of Black Men for Bernie began corresponding with a Breitbart reporter about working for the Trump campaign. Okay, so again, we're talking about one dude making bad decisions, right? We're talking about one dude making bad decisions. His actions don't tarnish everybody else. On July 12, 2016, while Bruce Carter of Black Men for Bernie was deep in conversations with Breitbart about joining the Trump campaign, Brand New Congress co-founder Stacey Hopkins quoted Carter, "There is absolutely nothing in the world that would make me vote for Hillary." I mean, that is also, I think, what you're leaving out of the story there. That's also when the WikiLeaks dump was happening, and we were learning that Hillary basically rigged the election. We were learning that Hillary rigged the election with Debbie Wasserman Schultz right around this date. So I'm sure there was a lot of people with pretty heated opinions about what was happening at the time. And there was still a lot of people saying, well, if Trump gets elected, he'll probably chill out a little bit. He won't be like on the as crazy as he has been on the debate, on the campaign trail, because he'll have to chill out and like be a leader. And obviously everybody was wrong about that. But this is some selective, this is some selective bullshit right here, because you're leaving parts of the story out. You're leaving parts of the story out. On July 13th, 2016, Black Men for Bernie suggested a Dem exit and change to GOP to really get the DNC's attention. Brand New Congress co-founder Stacey Hopkins replied, "I'm down, as I'm not about to hand over my vote and acquiesce. Some folks gotta learn hard, so be it." Again, you have to look at the time frame of this. This is exactly when they were going through the DNC convention. They were treated poorly at the DNC convention, and the WikiLeaks drops. This all happened right around this time frame. And then also, Julian Assange further fanned the flames by suggesting that Seth Rich was, wasn't that his name? I think was his name. That his murder was somehow a plot by the DNC, right? So he was out there basically implying, through offering a reward for information that would result in the capture of Seth Rich's killer, right? He was out there fanning the flames of this situation. And people were buying this crap up. Look, we are now 6 years out, and I still know people that are this, like, deep involved in these conspiracy theories. But this does not help because this creates more conspiracy theories. This makes it even worse. We're like going into constant alternate universes depending on which side of politics you're on. God damn. It's horrible. All right. On July 21st, 2016. So you're literally focusing everything on the month when the WikiLeaks drop occurred. Black Men for Bernie clarified their call for a hashtag #DemExit, suggesting that registered Democrats should wait until after voting for Cori Bush in the upcoming August 2nd Democratic Senate primary in Missouri before leaving the Democratic Party. Now, I don't know if your timeline is correct, actually, on this, in that you might be leaving out that Nick Brana had already started Draft Bernie and tried to start a third party. He was trying to get Bernie to leave the Democratic Party and start a third party with him. And Bernie turned him down. Oh my God. It's so weird to see half-truths. And to see so much information left out. On August 26, 2016, Breitbart broke the story that Bruce Carter of Black Men for Bernie would be helping end Democrat political slavery of minorities by campaigning for Trump. Of course, Breitbart hadn't actually broken the story, they'd created it. I don't know. Maybe they'd. I don't know. I don't read Breitbart. I don't read Breitbart. I do know that there are a lot of African Americans who do feel very betrayed by the Democratic Party, especially after the last election, especially after the 2020 election. In September 2016, Steve Bannon and Bruce Carter exchanged emails and agreed Carter would focus on wooing Democrats to support Trump in Florida, Philadelphia, and North Carolina, which ended up being highly successful for Trump. Screenshots from Bloomberg article are linked above. Well, like I said, I mean, maybe this dude was, maybe he did, you know, maybe, but you're making it out like this one guy represents everybody. On September 15th, 2016, Black Men for Bernie tweeted that they were receiving a lot of criticism after they announced their work for the Trump campaign. Brand New Congress co-founder Stacey Hopkins replied with a wink saying, "Still got plenty of love for you over here." I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I've seen a lot of people get involved in leadership roles in these progressive organizations who I think there have been a lot of people trying to surround Bernie for years who had terrible ideas, and they were very anti-Democratic Party, right? I personally had to encounter these people, and I was baffled by them. But this is probably another reason why I personally did not get involved in these organizations. On September 15th, 2016, 2 weeks after Bruce Carter and Black Men for Bernie had begun openly working for Trump, Brand New Congress sent a direct tweet, not visible on their timeline, to Black Men for Bernie. They're yelling over there again. Asking to begin communicating surreptitiously via direct messages. What does that even mean? Like, if they literally already had been doing events together, why is this weird? If they were already doing events together, then how is I mean, I don't know. I think you're blowing things up. On January 26, 2017, after Trump was elected president, Black Men for Bernie asked on Twitter who's going to retire Schumer. Brand New Congress, quote, tweeted Black Men for Bernie saying they were working to oust Schumer and asked Black Men for Bernie to join them. Well, the original goal was to actually supplant, is that the right word? Centrist leadership. It was to not only take GOP seats, but to also deal with the other corporate politicians who did not have the interests of the working class at heart. Did some of these groups go too far? Yeah, they probably did. They probably went too far. To recap, oh my God, you've literally had this account for how long, and your entire goal is just to attack the progressives that got elected into. That's so crazy. To recap, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's Brand New Congress organization collaborated with Black Men for Bernie, while Black Men for Bernie was secretly working with but if it's secret, then how did she know? For Steve Bannon. Then took their relationship private and continued collaborating even after Black Men for Bernie openly helped Trump win the 2016 election. I think you're making some assumptions there. Anybody could drop into your DMs and have any sort of conversation. Like, do you have some proof of this? Do you have, like, some screenshots of what you're talking about here? Holy shit, with all this bullcrap. Bruce Carter ended up getting stiffed by Trump, and Stacey Hopkins got shafted by BNC. Okay, so then apparently these are all moot points because they're all none of them are doing anything anymore. Like, but Brand New Congress struck gold with AOC, starred in Netflix Knock Down the House, and still works with sister PAC Justice Dems to grow the squad with people like Katie Porter. Why are you coming after Katie Porter? What are you doing? What are you even fucking thinking? Why are you coming at... Katie Porter doesn't even, like, half of the time she doesn't even want to associate with the squad because she was endorsed by Elizabeth Warren and Kamala Harris. So she really straddles that fence of working with the centrists but also having some progressive values. But she's, by the way, like, she's literally in the district next door to me, right? She's the most progressive congressional rep in Orange County, California, which is pretty conservative, right? She's not, I mean, it's so silly that you threw her name into this. It's ridiculous that you threw her name into this. Okay, it's not a fantastic thread. That's the end of it, though, thank God. Holy shit. It's not a fantastic thread because you're basically telling us the story of two people who do not work for these organizations anymore. And we're talking about something that happened 6 years ago. What a fucking waste. This is an absolute political hit less than 8 weeks before an election. What a piece of shit you are.